Christ. Halo Outreach Podcast to keep you up to date with everything going on in Halo.
Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode number 12 of the Halo Outreach Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the Patman Gaming, along with my buddy and co-host, KevinKoolx. Say hello there, Kevin.
They say we couldn't do it, but we did it. 12 episodes.
Yeah, Mom,
That's
we made it.
Over a fifth of a year.
Wow.
Right?
You did that math fast, or you had that in your head beforehand?
Quick maths.
Woo! Cringe Kev. Oh, that's awesome. So
my fiance just threw in a CD case.
Just throws it, chucks it at him. Take this.
And it's the Linkin Park Live in Texas CD that I had for since high school.
Oh my
Throwback City right here. Oh, does it still have the CDs in it? Oh, it still has the DVD, but it doesn't have the actual CD. I think I actually lost that when my original CD case was stolen, but that's another story for another day.
That's for another Linkin Park podcast. Parkour hardcore cast. We got plenty of topics for you guys here today, relating to, of course, Halo, since that is what this podcast is about, including a new hire at 343, a very interesting new hire. Update.
It's a dog.
You fucking bastard.
It says it on the screen.
Well, MCC update news that we'll be talking about, including a new event on MCC that's taking place throughout the month of October, and some little flight or something some game called Halo Reach. I think I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Flight is going on right now on Xbox. Me and Kevin are going to give you guys our impressions on that. And finally, we will wrap it up with the Halo 5 playlist update and, of course, answering your guys' questions at the end. So save those until the end of the podcast. If you guys have any questions, we answer just about every single one in the after party, basically, or the Q&A section of the podcast. So let's get started with topic number one, and that is, of course, a pug being hired at 343 Industries. And this one's pretty interesting. So this is, I mean, it's not new news by any means, but it's kind of just picked up traction recently because they originally posted this on their Instagram account a while ago, and they were playing like these they have a, we're going to show it right here. I'm going to show it for you guys. We have this pug.
Yeah, let me show it on mine because I'm the one that's recording the whole thing.
Yeah,
but you can keep talking about it.
So this freaking pug is making some weird noises, and it's pretty interesting. So here, take a look and take a listen.
That last sound. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's pretty awesome. So let's put on our speculation goggles here and let's talk about what we think this could mean for Halo. We know this is from Halo Infinite, first of all.
Yes.
This is for Halo Infinite. So what do you think this is, Kevin? Like, what are your guesses as to what this could be?
Adorable.
Something adorable.
Obviously, somehow these audio sounds are going to be used for Halo Infinite. What it sounds like it could be, to me, I feel like it could be the Flood. Because there's like freaking horse noises or something like that when it comes to the Flood back in Halo 3, right? Like that like Flood noise that they do. I don't know. Yeah. Like there's so many different noises that the Flood make that like it's just like it's like muffled and gross sounding. Like I never realized pugs sound this gross until I listened to this, because it's just like a microphone just pushed up to their face and just listen to a pug just breathing and like snorting and licking. You're just like, dude, that's pugs are gross.
Yeah, they are pretty disgusting,
but
cute at the same time somehow.
Oh yeah, they're like adorably ugly. It's like it's great. Plus, a main character back in the Men in Black movies, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it seems like we have some. I would think something flood related. Like I think it'd just be like add some reverb, and that's the flood. You know.
Yeah.
Or maybe some alien noises or something new we haven't heard before.
It could be something totally new. It could be I mean, we know in Infinite there's going to be like a lot of like environmental stuff and a lot of different wildlife. So it could be some animal they're just cooking up, and they just want it to make some crazy noises. But especially with all the different audio, like technological things they do with the audio, where they could change it, where just one sound, they'll take that bass sound and just turn it into something almost totally different sounding. I could definitely see it being a flood noise or something animal related. But yeah, nonetheless, we're pretty freaking dry for Halo Infinite news. So
I just think it's adorable. I think it's just like, first we're such a. I feel like sometimes we get so serious and like the news, like this is what's happening in Halo. Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this thing, and it's just like a fun little side piece. And like there's a dog that got. Yeah. There's gonna be dog noises in Halo Infinite.
And I'm a dog guy, so it's like, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it for that topic. That's really a quick one. Yeah. It's a one-off, but we'll move on to the next one.
By the way, they did say in the news article that we did find this in. The dog's name is Gyoza.
Yeah, Gyoza.
Which is like, I love gyoza, which is delicious. So not the dog itself. I'm talking about the food.
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin eats dogs, confirmed. On to the next topic.
Oh my god.
Is the Halo MC update. Yes. You want to take it away on this one, Kev?
Yeah, so as they do every month, Postums put up a monthly blog update of what's going on with MCC, kind of mentioning the flighting updates and some Halo for Halo Reach. This is before the flighting program started, or like the Flight 3 started. Kind of detailing about some things for Reach, some things going on right now for Halo, so kind of stuff, mainly stuff that's kind of coming down the pipeline here. Let me just switch the scene here so you guys can kind of get a little visual of what we're talking about here. First off, we're going to be talking about the legacy map migration, which I'm sure you guys probably have listened to us talk about a few times. A lot of maps, a lot of modes got migrated. They mentioned right here in the update that 6.6 million maps, 2.6 million game types were transferred over during this. Sorry. And so now, if you guys remember, was one really crucial thing that was brought up if you're playing on PC and you wanted to play your custom games back in the 360 days, what you would used to have to do, what originally what you had to do was find a way to sign onto an Xbox One, and that would initiate the transfer over to your PC profile. I'm assuming since it brings it over to your Microsoft account, that stuff's linked in some way, so that's what you'd have to do. So a lot of people, I'm sure, probably from the 360 days, probably don't have an Xbox One. They just went to PC. If it wasn't for MCC and Halo 5, I wouldn't have an Xbox One. I'll just be straight up with you. I just would have upgraded my PC. And so I would have been one of those guys if it wasn't for that, who would have loved Halo back in the 360 days, but then just didn't buy an Xbox One. Well, now, since some new revelations have come to us, if you're planning to play Halo Reach on PC and you don't have an Xbox One or any new console, what you can now, they confirm that those files will now be transferred over to your file share, so you do not need an Xbox One anyway. Just play Reach on PC, your files will be there, no questions asked. Now, if you do want to bring your MCC maps that you've made over to PC, then you do have to log into your Xbox to initiate that transfer over. That's the only kind of changes that happen right there. So I think it's just crazy that over 9 million game types and maps were transferred over into this whole thing. Yeah. Which is just, I mean, obviously with Halo 3, that was probably where the big chunk of data was. I'm sure Reach as well, because it was 3, Reach, and 4 are the games that were transferred over. This is back in 2000. 7 when that came out.
Was 3, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. What's up? Oh no, got the. Oh shoot.
We'll get a new one.
Oh yeah, let's get a new one.
Love you.
Love you too. Sorry, my fiance let me know that our French press is now cracked. So now we have to make coffee a different
Good
way.
thing your wedding is coming up.
Yeah, right.
Put it on the registry, baby.
And so, yeah, that's a lot of maps, a lot of modes, a lot of information being transferred over. That's super beneficial to PC players who never got the new Xbox platform to be able to just log into and get in your classic maps. No problem.
I would like to think that we, had a role in this because we stated our disappointment with, I kind of reached out to post them. So it was like, dude, that's kind of. You want to clarify on this? Like, is this really true where you have to have an Xbox to get your files if you're on PC? And it's like, yeah, that's the way it is. And I guess they found a way around that. So that's awesome. Awesome news for PC people. Because I always thought that was a really weird stipulation. Hey, sorry, you don't have an Xbox. Too bad. Even though it was all through Xbox Live and file share. I always thought that was weird. But glad they got that situated. And
well, I'm sure it's just an issue with transferring stuff from like Microsoft servers to also integrate with Steam in a way.
Right.
I'm sure.
But I mean, they got Xbox Live integrated with Steam, so how hard?
Some executive was just like, fine, we'll check the box,
right?
And then it ended up working just fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going. That's what just recently happened, and so also another cool thing with during the month of October, it is infection month. Ooh, because of spookiness.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys, if you hop on to MCC, you play 10 matches of social infection. What you'll actually will get is this snazzy. I don't know what's the name of this nameplate.
I think it's called Infected, isn't it?
Infected nameplate, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna call it the brains nameplate. You get a chance to get that. I got this last October, back when they did like the flood playlist, and so I'm not too stressed out about getting it. But if you haven't got that, right, now is the time to jump on. Just play 10 matches of infection. You'll get the sweet new nameplate for you guys right there.
Yep, throughout the whole month. You got the whole month to play 10 matches. Not too difficult.
Do you already have this nameplate here, Pat?
I don't, and I don't plan on getting it, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of noticed when they brought in infection into MCC, it was a bit lackluster, as in it wasn't as fun as I remembered it. Maybe I had the game I like to play because it was a very much a customs based game mode. I mean, it was there. I think they even had a matchmaking mode, but I always remember just playing mainly in customs. Pat flexing the Patman shirt. Yeah, true. Forgot about to mention about that. Patman does now have merchandise. Yeah, so you got some sweet shirts, right?
Shirts,
you got
hoodies, bunch of stuff.
You got some leggings, right?
You got leggings for the ladies or the
leggings
men.
for the ladies. They get that booty looking good. Move over Lululemon. Here comes Patman Gaming with some branded awesomeness right there.
I really considered bathwater, Kev.
I really hope your wife gets the leggings.
Yeah, she wants to. She wants to redesign them. Yeah, she wants to redesign them to her liking. But yeah, I consider bathwater.
Have say Patman right on the butt.
Right on the ass. Yeah, that's what she wants. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for the shout out. Yeah, that's available in my stream below in the panels below the stream. If anybody is interested, appreciate it. It's a good way to support the content. But yeah, this whole freaking MCC stuff. I never really got into infections. So I don't plan on getting that. But we could also move on to the Unreal Engine 4 stuff that I'll show you guys on stream too, right here.
Yeah, we'll move over to that. So yeah, next part of this blog update was talking about Halo Reach customization. Obviously, a huge part of Reach was the big leaps forward when it came to character customization in that game. One of the most favorited parts about that game, one of the biggest highlights. So people will definitely want to see that. And in the blog, they actually showed some screenshots of some elites, of some of the customization there. I mentioned this in the video when I made of this blog post, that the characters' colorization really seems to pop I don't know if it's just like that's how they have the color saturation set up in Unreal 4, or that's just like MCC, or that's just like the better resolution or something. I don't know. It's just like they seem to really pop out. These different colors, like the oranges and the reds and the purples, really seem to stand out. Much more than I remember Reach being so dull and gray, and that was a big complaint about the game back in the day. I remember that being a legitimate thing. That could have just been the ugly filter of the Xbox 360 limitations that they put over it, which we'll get into as well later on, talking about Flight 3. So they show some elite armor sets right here. You got the various different armor sets right here. Not as customizable that's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
As Spartans, but it's definitely there, and they definitely do look awesome for sure. And then they also do show some Spartans as well in this whole thing. Actually, I did watch Hidden Xperia's video, and he was and he mentioned it about how someone brought it out. The point is that in these renders, that they're not casting shadows on themselves. What I mean by that is if you let me kind of zoom in here. Let me just double check, make sure I got the stream up right. Yeah, okay, cool. You can see with this Spartan right here in the center, you can see his chest piece right here, but there is no shadowing like around the edge between the bodysuit and the armor itself. So it seems rather flat. These armors don't really have much depth to them. And so hopefully that's maybe just like a beta build kind of thing, and hopefully once the game releases, it'll look good. I mean, obviously, just having these armors rendered in such a higher fidelity is just good enough for me. Though it is that nice little like cherry on top to make that add that sense of visual appeal to the entire thing. But let me actually kind of move my webcam a little bit over here for you, Pat. So that's one thing I definitely noticed. And then they go into talking about how it is with Unreal 4. The biggest limitation is the original Xbox, and how the memory is really jammed in there for the MCC, for the RAM. I'm guessing what they mean by for memory. That's the big issue that they're having with it right now. But they do also mention one little thing about talking about the DLC armor coming to the game. And was it Max? How do you pronounce the name?
I have that last name so hard, yeah.
Slazgor. It's SZ, which is like consonants. What? He mentions how Postums asks him about a lot of people are asking about various DLC armors that come out for Halo Reach. What are you planning for? And he said yes. If any armor has been included in retail Halo Reach at any point, it will be included in the game. Which, like I watched an Xperia's video on this whole thing. He talked about how there actually were no armor sets involved with any DLC with Halo Reach back in the day. Because there was this one armor set that was planned to be a GRD, which kind of looked like a weird, like minor kind of armor set to the whole thing. But it never made it in the game, but it was in the game files. Game Cheat also kind of brought it up in his Instagram post that we mentioned in the previous podcast about how it was in the game files. The armor is there. It might not just be like fleshed out properly to where it could be presentable for everyone to enjoy. And so we might get GRD, maybe not. I'm assuming no, since Max does mention every armor that was in retail Halo Reach at any point will be included, which means I don't think we'll get GRD, especially Goodness Armor, coming our way there, sadly. And then just kind of scrolling through the update. There. I mean, do you care much about the extra armor sets there?
Yeah. I mean, I think they look pretty cool. I was just complaining how you're screwing me when you keep adjusting your camera. I gotta keep messing with my stream. I'm like, damn it.
Sorry, I'm trying to help you out here because I'm like, I can see the little thumbnail of like what mine looks like, and I thought like I looked kind of like out of frame.
No, you were good, but now I have to adjust you more. And I was using like my arrow keys, so I kept, and my arrow keys are my hotkeys for changing the slide. So I'm all over the place. Anyways, yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do think this looks really cool. Honestly, Unreal Engine 4, 3D, 4K, 60 frames per second. It's looking really good. I mean, I think they look pretty cool. I was just complaining how you're screwing me when you keep adjusting your camera. I gotta keep messing with my stream. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
really cool stuff, especially the fact that they're getting that to run alongside the 10 other engines in MCC is just mind blowing to me. But I think it looks really good, and like you said, it's definitely still a work in progress. They mentioned that in the blog post, so it could only hopefully be
But
better looking.
would you be upset if GRD does not make it into
I don't
Reach?
care. No, I don't
Yeah,
care.
I don't really care much either. There's
Yeah.
already enough armor in the game, and plus,
Yeah, plenty.
the armor, the helmet itself, I'm like, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really fit what I would want my Spartan to look like. Maybe some body pieces or shoulder pieces or something that would look kind of cool, but the helmet itself, which is kind of, helmet piece, chest piece are kind of the two major points I feel like when it comes to Halo armor. I didn't really care much for them.
Yeah.
So,
As long as
and
Haunted
that's,
makes its return and it's hard to get is all I really care about.
that would be awesome. Like, if you get like, if you say
Max
it's
the
at the
season
end,
out or something.
yeah, max the season pass out for it, that would be perfect.
Exactly.
All right, and so now going further down the list here on the dev update, they talk about PC. Obviously, the number one concern whenever you hear people talking about PC gaming are cheaters. It's much easier. It is easier to cheat on PC than it is on a console because with the openness of PC software and hardware, that you just download a program and boom, you're like a god who can just one hit everybody. No problem. You can't really do. You can do that on console, but it's a pain in the ass to do, and no one really does it. And you get caught very easily by modifying hardware. But Pat, you kind of know a little bit about this anti-cheat that's coming to Halo Reach.
Yes,
So
correct.
how do you take it on this one here?
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, it's not maybe the most popular anti-cheat method, but it is popular nonetheless. Quite a few games use anti-cheat. There's a huge list, but some of the most, like well-known titles include games like Apex Legends, Gears of War 5 or Gears 5, Fortnite Battle Royale, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Division 2, all use this easy anti-cheat system on PC. So a lot of big time titles, and since two of those titles are Battle Royale games, Battle Royale is confirmed for Halo. So, boom.
Oh God, that actually I would like it, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's another time. That's another subject for another game. Now you said Division 2, right?
Yes, correct.
Because I remember Division 1 on PC was
Notorious.
destroyed by hackers. Oh my God, there's so many hackers in Division 1. What's the Dark Zone?
Yeah, the
Absurd.
Dark Zone was bad.
Yeah, but I haven't really heard much at all when it comes to hacking in Division 2. Or, obviously I haven't heard anything about that on Gears 5, or Fortnite. And so, or I haven't come across any of that in Apex Legends. And so this does seem like a pretty legit anti-cheat. I would assume the sanctity of your online games will be kept intact.
Yeah. Now,
your
if
gameplay
PUBG was on that
experience.
list, I'd be worried because I played PUBG extensively on PC, and there was a lot of hacking going on in that. So yeah, it seems like a pretty good anti-cheat method, which is exciting. I mean, that's huge for PC. That's essential.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess next subject here on the last tail end of this blog update, talking about, I guess a little bit. I mean, vicariously, this talks about PC specs when it comes to running Reach, which is probably going to be, Halo 4 is probably gonna be the most demanding game, but maybe no one really cares about the games.
H2A2.
Or H2A is going to be the most demanding one for sure. But they were talking about how with Reach, I'm assuming this is also probably plays in part with the rest of the MCC, but they're talking about dual graphics card setups. So if you're using dual NVIDIA cards, so SLI setup, or dual AMD graphics cards, which known as Crossfire, that those will not be supported because apparently some of the graphics card manufacturers found that the performance on a single card is good enough for you to enjoy the game how it's intended to be enjoyed. And so then running SLI or Crossfire is not going to be supported with this. I would assume with Reach being a 10-year-old game, it's a 9-year-old game, I'm sorry, that you don't really need that great of a PC to enjoy it.
Right.
Now, if you're looking to also record and stream at the same time, you probably want something pretty good. Even with my PC, I still feel pretty comfortable about that because I used to stream Battlefield 3 from this exact PC that I'm using right now, which was released like in 2012, I want to say. And it was a little demanding on the PC at the time, but by itself, like Battlefield 3 back in 2012, when I got a 770 graphics card with the i5 2500K, I was able to run that game at ultra settings at like 80 FPS. For keep that in mind. So this game is not as graphically as intense as Battlefield 3. So I would assume like an i5, you'll be fine. A 560 graphics card, a 770 graphics card for NVIDIA. I don't know how that translates over to AMD. I think you'd be doing just fine playing on your own.
Yeah, these are Halo 4 is a 7-year-old game. These aren't graphically demanding games, so the non-support for dual graphics cards isn't surprising at all. It's really just overkill for these games. Now, I'd be shocked if Infinite didn't support that, obviously. But
I would think Infinite would absolutely have to support
absolutely have to support it, unless something went terribly wrong.
From what we've seen in those trailers
or something.
Yeah, of course. What we've seen from those trailers, like unless they pull like a straight up Ubisoft and just downgrade everything horribly, which I don't expect that to happen, with it being like a new gen, future tech coming out.
Exactly.
Especially since how much bad press Ubisoft got, especially with the game like back in the day when it came to Watch Dogs. When the E3, then they showed in on E3, like, wow, these graphics are amazing, and then the game released, and you're like, wow, this is worse than GTA 5.
Yeah, that's Ubisoft for you. They do that shit all the time.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't expect that kind of downgrading to happen, since I think smoke and mirrors have been kind of steadily removed over the years from E3, because the way the internet works, that bad press, it kind of sticks with you, And that's pretty much everything to do with the MCC Dev update. We got the all that good stuff right in there. Is there anything you want to touch on, Pat, before we move on to our Flight 3 impressions?
No, I'm ready to get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast right here. This is going to be a good segment.
Let's get into it. So, Pat, would you take us off into the journey of Flight 3?
So, Flight number 3 got basically, like, we knew about it after that MCC development update. We knew it was coming soon because they basically said, keep an eye on your emails the next few days. Lo and behold, the day after they freaking released that update, I got the email. I'm like, whoa, that was quick. And then 1 or 2 days later, freaking Flight 3 is live. I just come home from work. I go home, I take a nap because I'm exhausted. And if I would have known Flight 3 was coming out, I wouldn't have napped. And I wake up and I got an email and I'm like, Flight 3 is live from October 2nd to October 9th. And I'm like, holy shit, today's October 2nd. So we'll go ahead and get into our impressions of Flight number 3. The very first day was social for us. And then it went to hardcore.
Social 4v4.
Right. Then it went to hardcore, and then we did some invasion. So we'll progress throughout that. As far as social, I mean, just getting on their very first base impressions. I'm on an Xbox One X. So it's 4K 60 frames. The 60 frames, first of all, is a huge difference, and I'll touch on that probably at the end of this segment again. But the textures and how beautiful Reach looks for a 9-year-old game, it looks amazing. Out of all the games on MCC to get the 4K 60 frame patch, this one struck me as the most impressive to me, just because of the Reach art style. It's very different from all the other Halos. So
would you go as far as saying iconic?
Ooh, Hidden Xperia. Iconic. But yes, definitely iconic and definitely timeless. Like I think I mentioned this to you, like Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker has like those timeless cel-shaded graphics, and Reach really reminds me of a kind of art style that's almost timeless. It ages really well. You look at some other games from 9 years ago, they don't look, including like Halo 3 from, what was that, 12 years ago? I think you said Halo 3 looks pretty good. I personally don't think Halo 3 holds up that well. But I'm just gonna shit on Halo 3 as I always do. But as far as gameplay goes, it felt good. I think me and shout out to Jimbo in chat. We don't think it's title update though, but it just, the bloom feels too much to what I remember title update being, and I'm curious to see if they even mentioned that it could very. I think you said it's title update for sure, but something just feels off to me. Like hardcore felt infinitely better in that game. That is definitely the best version of Reach is the hardcore settings, in my opinion. Um, and then Invasion. Uh, I love Invasion. When I played it on Reach was my favorite playlist. One of my favorite, probably my favorite game mode in Halo ever. But I did not enjoy the beta or the flight that much because I was just getting stomped. It doesn't take away from the game mode whatsoever. I'm not a big fan of the map that they included. I much prefer the other one that's like in the shipyard.
Boneyard.
Yeah, Boneyard.
Close.
Well, yeah. Well, I knew I call it like it's like in a shipyard, but I didn't remember the name of it. But yeah, I guess Boneyard.
I think it's the Pillar of Autumn. I think is actually that's ship that's there, or a Spirit of Fire. It's a notable ship that's there.
It's probably yeah, Pillar of Autumn.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like Ryder pointed out, he said I've had some interesting bugs though in Flight 3. Yeah, we've definitely had a couple of interesting ones. We'll get into those too. What are your initial impressions after the first 3 days that we played?
Day one, social 4v4 Slayer, so not even Slayer, just social 4v4 with various game modes. Played great. Like I said, you mentioned earlier about like how good Reach looks in these new updated settings, which aren't like revolutionary to like how the visuals look, right? Just 1080p, 60 FPS, no motion blur. But removing all that stuff, it's like it just takes like this ugly film off of the game, and you're like, wow, I didn't realize how good Reach looked until I played it on the MCC.
Exactly.
I had that same experience when I went to 343. We actually got a chance to play some of this multiplayer, and I got a chance to kind of watch over people's shoulders, and I got to play some of myself, and I was like, I don't remember Reach like looking this good. I remember being like kind of dull and drab, and like it was a big complaint back in the day, saying the colors were so dull and unsaturated and things like that. That really kind of like hindered your experience. But like this is like the colors pop in this new MCC version. I don't know what it is, but it just looks so good. But yeah, like when you're saying about like talking about Bloom and the title update kind of stuff, it's 85% of what original Bloom is. So it's only a 15% reduction on Bloom. So it's still significant. It's still, Bloom is still there, very much there, but it's reduced to the point where it's still matches the intention of Bloom, but without interfering with the gameplay too much. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll get into that comparisons when it comes to Invasion, because Invasion uses vanilla settings, which actually I think is probably better for the game mode itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, playing title updates with Reach just plays super well. I do plan to make a video just kind of comparing and contrasting title update versus vanilla, so you know what to understand when you're just hopping back and forth between social and Invasion, because I'm sure a lot of people will cross over between there. I know I will.
Definitely.
But yeah, I loved 44 Slayer. Played out super well. The only issue I had really with this entire flight is some of the spawns I noticed in 44s were pretty bad. Yeah. I did have a clip where this was on day 2 where I was playing competitive, and me and Hidden Xperia were like kind of like going back and forth. He had a sniper rifle. I was trying to pick him up with the DMR. But he picks me off, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm dead. Respawn. He's literally jumping. I spawn at the balcony. He's at the balcony jumping towards my spawn, and I do is hit the melee button. I melee him in the back right off of my spawn. Like it's some stuff like that happened. Yeah, it was. Yeah, not the. I don't know if that was just Reach. Because this is like 9 years ago. I'm trying to remember how good the spawns were back in Reach. But if they can tweak some of the spawns in 4v4s, I'd say go for it for some of the smaller maps, because I think some of the spawning logic could use some love. And just the main issue I'm sure everyone knows about if you played Flight 3 is the XP audio glitch that happens. Yep. Where basically at the end of a match you get to see your XP bar, because they added in progression into the game where you gain XP, you level up and things like that. And so they wanted to show that in this flight, but the thing is that the audio continually keeps going. That little ticking noise of like the bar going up, it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going. It's subtle, but it's there. And it just doesn't stop. So you have your left headphones going, and your right headphones going wonk, 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 or whatever the heck that sound is. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And so that's a big issue. I heard a remedy around that is just let the screen play through. Don't skip the XP screen, and then the glitch won't happen. But if you let the glitch happen, if you let that glitch happen, it persists throughout your entire game session until the next game, until the next XP load screen, and then the audio overdubs it themselves and it cancels out. So if you're playing Flight 3, just let that XP screen play itself through, and then you won't have to deal with the glitch anymore. I found that out by watching Ishii's stream earlier today. And so, yeah, I got that going for you.
Speaking of audio, too, I want to throw that in there while we're on that subject. Right, yeah. We noticed that it was kind of like muffled sounding, right? Like when, like throughout the whole entirety of this flight, the audio seems off. It's not as punchy as what I remember Reach was.
Actually, I noticed that certainly when it came to day one, when it came to Social 4v4, it's like the distant audio. I mentioned this in my impression video as well, but I was saying like the distant audio, it sounds super compressed. You don't have any, it sounds like it's in mono, it's not in stereo.
Stereo, right.
And it sounds like it's in a low bit rate, like below CD quality, like if you tried ripping off a YouTube video, lyric video, and making it on your MP3 player or whatever, like that's how bad it sounds. Like it sounds terrible, to be honest. Not to the point where it's annoying or anything, but you just hear like background low res gunshots happening, and you're like, you have no directional audio where that's coming from. That I was noticing that a lot in the Social 4v4 and day 2 when it came to the competitive maps. Of course, the competitive maps are smaller, and so then I didn't really notice them as much, but they definitely are there. But day 3, when I was playing Invasion, I was actually kind of noticing I wasn't really hearing that sound too much. I don't know if maybe there was so much going on that I couldn't really pick it out, and it's just kind of read it as background noise, or if that was still persisting through Invasion. But Invasion, like long distance audio seemed to work pretty well, and I wasn't really getting that experience either. So that's definitely, I think, one thing that 340 needs to look into is the directional audio at long distance. Make sure that sounds just fine. And I guess when we talk about Invasion, I was actually kind of curious on your end, since you were playing on an Xbox One X. How did Invasion play out for you? Like physically, I guess physically, or technically, how did the game play out for you? How did the game play out for you?
No hiccups, nothing. I mean, smooth 60 frames. Were you like experiencing any frame drops or anything like that?
Whenever there was like a good amount of action happening, or if I was looking down a long distance, I was noticing a bit of frame rate dropping happening. Say, for example, like, on Breakpoint, I'm sure I'm at this point now, where the rocket launcher spawns for the Spartans on that platform. And if you're looking down the long hallway to the score zone for the elites to drag the core down to, especially during that, that's like one consistent spot I recognize, like some frame drops happening from just watching the game happen.
Okay.
If I'm playing on an original Xbox One. Right. And then other than that, then like your typical frame drops from like, 7 grenades going off at once, or like having like 12 people on the screen at the same time, like, yeah, your frames are going to drop a little bit. Right. But even then, the frame drops weren't not as so bad to where it really impeded the gameplay. They would probably drop down to like 50 or something. So nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's basically my experience with Flight 3 so far. I feel super fortunate that being able to play it, because I didn't get in Flight 1 or 2. So being able to play the multiplayer of Flight 3 seems super good. Like, other than that, and actually I do feel like also watching another thing is that now this is kind of like, as I'm talking, it keeps coming in. The sensitivity in Reach seems a bit high. Now I don't know if that's just the Reach engine, or this is just like the transfer from 360 to Xbox, because I could have sworn I used to play on like 5 sensitivity or something like that back in the Reach days, or because I'm using I bumped all the way down to 2.5. I think I kind of hovered. I think I kind of found my comfort zone at 3.5 sensitivity with like I think 5 XL and stuff like that with a 12 dead zone. But I don't know if you kind of notice that as well. But I feel like the sensitivity, at least for Reach, is a little bit higher than other Halos.
Yeah, sensitivity definitely fell off, and it took a little bit of adjusting the settings for me to get more comfortable. And it could be just a direct impact of 60 frames, just feeling that freaking good on Reach. You know, it could be a number of things, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. I want to show too, if you want to pull Twitter up and show on your side too, that glitch that Raps went through that he tagged us in. That'd be a pretty funny one to show.
Oh yes, that's right. We'll show it up
to everybody.
Yeah, because
we'll
like it wasn't the first time I was shown that either. A follower also sent that same glitch to me as well, where he saw somebody like in a ghost doing that same glitch. Let me try to see if I can kind of scroll through and find it on Twitter here. I'm just so popular. Jeez, I can't find it all. Okay, it is sideways, so I'll have to. You guys might have to tilt your head on this one here, but you'll be able to see like the glitch we're talking about. So basically, there's a glitch in Invasion where when a character jumps into the vehicle, they're actually standing up straight like they normally do, and they can shoot and do everything else. I'll show you the video that this a follower sent me here. I think it was actually Chase that sent me this video. He filmed it vertically, whatever, but it's there. And play, damn it. Come play. I think my computer just froze.
Oh wow.
Sick.
Damn it. My fault.
And now it's playing. Okay, let me go back. You can't see it's you have to tilt your head a little bit here. But you can see there's a guy in a ghost just like standing straight up. For whatever reason. It was crazy. I think Rap showed the first person view, if we can try to find that as well here. Just keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. What? I think this is it. Yes, there it is. There's a video here. When Rap was playing Invasion. He's interesting Warhawk. He starts to jump into the gun seat. And he's like, wait, I'm actually driving this while also in first person. And he's able to shoot and completely like look different directions as well. It's just like so
while
crazy.
Driving.
He's able to melee and stuff. It's crazy. So we watching that pop up. I wasn't experiencing that. And I played I played Invasion, the one map, over and over for 6 hours straight. I'm not even exaggerating though. That's how much I loved playing Invasion though in Reach. Like, because I never really played it much back in the Reach days, because I was like, it's not Slayer. And so this really was like my first time playing Invasion, and oh my god, do I love Invasion. It's so much fun. I don't expect myself. I don't see why I would ever want to play Big Team Battle after playing Invasion.
Exactly.
It's so cool because it's just elites versus Spartans. It's the first time we've ever had that, and the only time we've actually ever had that really in Halo. Also, to scale, the elites are bigger. They're more mobile. They can jump higher. They're stronger as well, I think, as well. And compared to Spartans, are smaller, they're a little bit weaker, so they're at a little disadvantage there. But like, it feels like I'm playing a campaign mission every time I load into Breakpoint. It's a very cinematic game, multiplayer mode, and I'm surprised at how I did not play this back in the day.
Yeah, it was by far the best thing about Reach, in my opinion, like multiplayer wise.
Yeah, because like basically I just played Social Slayer, 5v5 Social Slayer back in the day. That's all I did. Yeah,
Charlie Horse.
That's literally all I played back then. I was a beast at it. I had like a 2.2 KD back in the day. Yeah, flexing hard there. But Yeah, now after playing that, Invasion mode really was like the first time I actually played it. I see myself playing a lot of campaign, Invasion,
Especially
hardcore,
that it's
and
ranked now
firefight.
too.
Yeah, and it's ranked as well, so I
Yeah.
give you a little give a reason to thirst. But what was your kind of impressions on? Did you play Invasion match back in the day as well, or any hardcore settings, or was there anything like in this Reach Flight that you've played so far that you didn't try out and you have a new perspective on it?
Probably hardcore. I didn't play much Reach, especially too after title update. So I was never like into like hardcore MLG playlists when I was young in Halo.
Same.
I was trash at Halo.
Same.
And yeah, and it kind of it just throwing the word MLG on a playlist just made me intimidated right off the bat. I was like, yeah, I don't want to rage. I rage enough as it is. You know, even young Patman was even worse. So, yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed going back to Invasion. Overall, I'd like to try out SWAT. If I remember, SWAT was pretty fun on Reach. So I might try a little bit of that out while it's up today. SWAT and Snipers is up today. But besides that, yeah, hardcore was a pleasant surprise. I like that. I like that a lot. And just overall, yeah, I've been just having a blast. It plays so different than Halo 5. I know we talked about this so many times on our streams. Trying to use our tactics on Halo 5 just does not work on Reach. You can't crouch strafe on Reach. Reach is just like, no, no, no. Halo 5 is just like, you just freaking bouncing around everywhere.
Doing like this. You're like, I'm strafing. I'm strafing, guys. I'm strafing.
Oh god. Chief just fell on the ground. We got Chief down. Chief down.
Chief down. But actually, there is a way you can't. No, that crouch strafing is still a thing in Reach. Though I actually like how it's implemented much more in Reach than it is in Halo 5, because in Reach, you can't crouch while moving forward. What you gotta do is stand still, then you can crouch and strafe. But but this adds such a high level of a skill ceiling to it when it comes to crouch strafing and Halo Reach, where like there has to be that split second where you can time it perfectly to where you can crouch and then you can keep strafing. And if you can do it just right, it really throws people off, because almost nobody does it unless you're playing like the hardcore playlist that, like, you know, playing as pros, which that's what I was basically playing against like 90% of my play session, playing competitive. Like the very first game, I actually tweeted this out, the very first game I played in Halo Reach competitive, I matched Neptune, I matched the Bound, and I matched Eco. Which, if you guys know, Neptune has been on various pro Halo teams. Bound is a very good amateur who's essentially a pro. He has never been I don't think he's been on any notable teams, but the guy is a legend in the Halo 5 matchmaking. And in Eco, who you guys know, who was on Splice, who won the Halo World Championships back in 2018, and various times when he played with Tox. So the guy's good.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. In other words,
I'm a guy who has like a full-time job and plays Halo kind of like casually competitive, you know. And so the matches were moist, to say the least.
Yeah, they were also, even when we faced a lot of streamers.
A lot of streamers,
we
a lot
faced
of pros.
Green Skull, Ubernick, and Taquin all on one team, and they plowed straight through us. Even with, you know, it was me, you, Rapscallion.
Yeah.
It was.
I think I got the level. I think I got the level 2 in the competitive setup. I didn't really get much. I didn't get much further than that. I did get to level 5. I probably got close to level 6 in Invasion, but I heard some guys like Nated get to like 15. I think actually Mint Bliss got to like 15 or something like that. It's where he got too high of a ranking, couldn't find matches. Oh gosh, but yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to playing competitive in Reach. Like if I can get around like level 30, I'll be happy. You know, I'll be happy with that. I'll be a happy Pete.
Happy Pete.
But looking forward, though, we do know that Flight 3 is continuing on until the 9th of October. So, Pete, do you want to go into the details of what the upcoming days are going to play like? Because each day is a whole new playlist.
Right, correct. Yeah, and there's certain times where they really want people to play these just to like stress test, but They'll be available all day on these days. So day 1, the second was social 4v4. Day 2, the third was hardcore. Day 3, the fourth was invasion. Today was SWAT and snipers, as well as social. Tomorrow will be 8v8 social, so big team battle. The next day will be hardcore again to test out. And then after that, we have 2v2 social, which I'll be trying out probably with Kevin if I get the chance, which is on a work day. So we'll see if I can muster that. I have to wake up early, which I do want to try that out. And then finally, on the last day of the flight would be 4v4 social again. So social 4v4 bookends the flight, and then it's gone forever.
But I have a very strong feeling that PC flighting will happen very quickly after that.
Yeah,
Probably the next
me
week
too.
would be my
I hope
guess.
so, and hopefully we get in this time.
Oh,
And
I would think we'd be able to get into it. Just
Yeah, I
because
would
we're already
hope.
in Flight 3 and we have decent PCs.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I guess, you know,
I almost would have put money on us getting in the last one, but that didn't happen.
sure. Yeah, some people were actually surprised when they're like, when I told people like, yeah, I didn't get in the flight too. Like, wait, you didn't get in the flight too?
Right. The Kevin Cool didn't get in?
Like I remember, like yeah, I was on the, I was in Ishii's chat, and he's like, "Wait, you like live right next to 343? You went to 343, and you didn't
Knock
get
on their
you,
door."
You were invited to go to 343, and you weren't in flight 2. What the hell's up with this, brother?" I was like,
Right.
"I know."
Like, way to throw salt on that wound.
Man.
But yeah, I mean, if Ryder said isn't fourth flight supposed to be to everyone, if it is the final one, ideally they're gonna try to pack in everybody or as many as they can. But
Which-
yeah, there's still nothing confirmed at this point.
Which also should mention that if you guys haven't checked your emails since the initial emails being sent out, please check your emails. Today and yesterday, a lot more people got invited into the flighting program to try to fill out that list of people trying to play. I'm sure when BTB comes out on the 6th, I'm sure a lot more people will get invited because they need so many people to fill up matches. Which finding matches in MCC Fireflight, Flight 3, is super fast.
Yeah.
Like faster than like actual MCC. I don't know what they're doing to make it better, but it's way better matchmaking, like way faster times, which is pretty awesome.
Plus, there's a crap load of people in this flight that were invited to, so that probably helps.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Basically telling everybody go play Halo right now instead of it being out and you get to choose when you want to play Halo. I guess that would have an impact on how many people are playing when we are. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely very quick. Loading into matches just like regular MCC after the reboot to MCC is very quick now. It's all very flawless, very. And one thing I wanted to mention too, which I haven't got a chance to test out, and I don't even know if this is in the flight, but we do know it will have HDR on the One S and the Xbox One X. I'm really curious to see how that HDR plays with the colors in Reach, because like you said, it's already popping right now a lot more than I remember Reach being like. And that's obviously probably from the resolution upgrade and the textures. But yeah, I want to see HDR. I can't record or stream while using HDR, so I have to do it off stream, but I can't wait to test that out.
I couldn't imagine HDR looking like that much better, because like honestly, like when you kind of lower down the contrast a little bit, like it's still a pretty good range of contrast.
It depends on how well it's implemented, honestly. Like some games, it makes a huge difference. Like PUBG, huge difference. Red Dead, huge difference. Like a very big difference in the colors. So, and other games like Gears of War 5, also great use of HDR. But other games, I can't remember. Some were very disappointing when I clicked on Actually, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I left HDR off, made the game look so washed out, so ugh. And honestly caused a lot of glitches too. So
Big surprise using features that are supposed to improve the game make Call of Duty look terrible.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like a typical COD issue, really.
Yeah, Halo Outreach podcast where we shit on COD,
or talk about it for the first 30 minutes of the podcast
and then get yelled at. Just kidding. Much love to that
Lol,
guy.
JK.
He apologized too. It was no offense taken. We just we're just messing around.
Hmm.
But yeah, you want to wrap? You think we wrapped up that segment? You want
Yeah, I
to?
think we got everything we wanted to touch on for Flight 3. Ultimately, it's awesome. If you check your emails, check your spam, check your various folders, check your alt accounts if you accidentally signed up with they're using those. Because I've seen some people on Twitter actually accidentally sign up with alt accounts, thought they didn't get invited, and turns out they did. Like K Madify, if you guys know him from Twitch, he was like, "Where's my invite? How did I not get invited?" And then turns out he actually was invited, but he was signed into another account where his gamer tag was Gummy Bear Vomit. And so he didn't realize he was invited until like yesterday. The
Yeah, and
whole
another
time.
thing too, a lot of people were confused on how to download it because the instructions were kind of confusing. I'll admit, because some of it kind of contradicted other steps. So if you guys are having trouble getting the download to work, I made a video on it. Go ahead, check it out on the channel. Quick shameless plug.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were pretty thankful about it. They're like, "Oh, man, this really helped me out. Thank you. These instructions are
Yeah.
kind of confusing, or I couldn't get it to work until I saw the video." So do
I,
that, and yeah, we'll move on
yeah, I read
to
that email like 3 times
yeah,
over, and then I
exactly.
read it with doing the steps as well, just to make sure
Yeah.
I did everything properly.
And at some point, I was just like, "All right, screw the steps. I'm just gonna go by the outline of it," and yeah, it worked. So it's great.
Yeah.
Um, but Halo 5 players here. Playlist
Lovely.
update. So, Halo 5, as we always do at the end of each Halo Outreach podcast, is go through the upcoming Halo 5 featured playlist for all the 152 grinders out there, because if you don't know, featured playlists are double XP. As of right now, there was a was this the first time they did that community vote thing? I can't remember the last time they
Mm-hmm.
did something like that. So,
Well, it's been years since they
okay, yeah,
have
it's been
done
a
it.
while.
I think before it actually was maybe just a waypoint only poll,
Okay.
or they might have done it through Twitter before as well. But it's been a long time since they've taken community feedback on like which place you want to see next kind of
Right.
stuff.
So there was a community vote on Twitter between Griffball and basically multi-team for Halo 5, and Griffball won, of course, drastically. So that is your featured playlist. I really wanted Rock and Rail. I was surprised there wasn't
Oh yeah.
more options, but um, that rotated in for ODST Slayer. RIP. I kind of like that playlist. So
Mm.
me and Kevin both did videos on our impressions on that. If you guys missed the opportunity to play that, it was a pretty cool new content drop for Halo 5. It was cool to play something new in a 4-year-old game. So they have that for featured. Infection is double XP all month long. Obviously, Halloween is this month, so that ties in. HCS doubles is the ranked double XP playlist right now. I've been playing a little bit of that. I believe Shoddy Snipes and Halo 3 Anniversary are still double XP. We were playing a Halo 3 Anniversary or Classic playlist, whatever, last night, and seem to be giving out double XP. I haven't tested Shoddy Snipes, so those should still be double XP as well. And on October 10th, coming up this week on Thursday, Covenant Slayer is going to rotate in for Shoddy Snipes. So good way to get those commendations if you guys are missing out on like certain commendations too. It's a kill two birds one stone kind of thing. And after that, we'll update you guys next week on what's coming the following week. But yeah, I never played Covenant Slayer honestly, so I'm kind of looking forward to playing that. I always just play normal Slayer. I never played the featured playlist honestly. I'll admit it. I'm sure it's not anything drastic, but yeah, rock and rail says Hallshot. Hell yeah, best way to grind XP on.
Really is.
And I'm down, Hoff. I'm definitely down tonight. But yeah, that's I miss it. I can't wait till Rock and Rail to make some progress. I'll be streaming right after this my journey to 149. We should be able to hit it hopefully tonight or tomorrow.
You'll be right up there with me. It's only taking me 4 years to get to 149.
Dude,
You're
can you
like, I've
believe
been
that?
playing for
Freaking
3 days.
yeah, 2 months ago I was a 111 and now I'm 149. Just playing
Crazy.
premierly featured. Like that's it. Featured. So definitely. But yeah, that's the Halo 5 playlist update, and we will move on to everybody. I'm assuming in the chat's favorite section who are watching on the live stream. the questions and answers. So if you guys have any questions for me or Kevin or for the both of us, anything Halo related, anything related, honestly, we will answer it right now. Now is your time. Type in the chat, and we'll go through me and Kevin's streams to answer some of these questions. But
I guess
yeah.
while they're filtering, maybe you just kind of give a little shout out to how people can find you on the internet.
Yeah, we'll do our little outro while people are conjuring up their questions for the on-demand version of the podcast. For those listening on YouTube or Spotify or watching on YouTube on Kevin's channel, you guys can find me at the Patman Gaming on Twitter, on Twitch, the Patman Gaming, Mixer, the Patman Gaming, and on YouTube, Patman Gaming. Drop the. And you will find me. Just type in Patman Gaming anywhere. I should pop up on anything, which is a nice place to be at now, Kevin. I used to have competition. There was other Patman Gamings out there, but now I have taken the throne as the #1 Patman gamer.
There can only be one.
Happy Pit.
Happy Pit.
But yeah, where can people find Mr. Kevin Cool?
Well, as you can see on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, got my Twitter linked right there. Check out the description in the video and on Podbean. To all our links will be provided in there. I got like YouTube channel, KevinKoolx. We got my Instagram account as well, KevinKoolx. I do post on there quite often. If I ever hit clips or find some dank ass memes, I'll be sharing that on Instagram. And I got like a Discord and I got a Facebook and all this other stuff. But basically, just check out the links in the description, people, if you want to check it out. I also, like I said in the description, you should be able to find timestamps for things that you actually want to listen to as well. If you want to kind of skip around or just kind of hop back to no pun intended, to another section or later or something like that. But yeah, those are the ways you can find me. And while I was saying that, Ghost Main just subscribe to my Twitch, dude. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. We'll make sure to play the notification after we're done recording the podcast here, because you definitely deserve a solid notification.
We got a couple of questions already.
Mm-hmm.
So first one, let's see here. First one. So do you guys think the people who buy MCC on PC via the Microsoft Store will be able to play with the Steam users? This is already confirmed, isn't it? That you can do that?
Yeah, I think if you're just playing on PC, you can play with each other.
It's all Xbox Live integrated. So on Steam, you're still using an Xbox Live account. Same thing on the Microsoft Store, obviously. So it's just a matter of, like, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you're going to get the Microsoft Store version of MCC. And if you're on Steam and you don't have Game Pass, then that's another way to buy MCC. Or if you're just a Steam loyalist and you say F Microsoft, you could get it on Steam.
Well, I think it's like if you buy it on Steam, it's more just kind of like a platform to buy it. You're still playing through the same servers. The money's still going to Microsoft. I think just like that place, that Steam actually takes a little bit of a cut. But yeah, if you're playing on PC, you'll be also playing as other PC players. But there is cross progression. So if you're if you're playing on PC, then your friends on Xbox, like, hey, we want to play with you as well. Your progression will carry over there, but there is no cross play, but there is cross progression.
Okay, cool. And Mr. Destroyer, shout out. He says, if you could have any one weapon from the Halo games in real life, what would it be? Also, love the content. Well, thank you. We are pretty awesome people, if I do say so myself. You want to go first on that one, Kevin? What would your go-to weapon be in real life?
Go-to weapon to have. See, the thing is, I'm not really much of a weapons guy. I've actually never shot a gun before.
I haven't until recently, so you're almost not alone in that.
But if I were to have a gun from Halo, to just like maybe I'd probably just hang it up on the wall or something. So I'd go more of an aesthetic point of view of what kind of weapon I would want. I would go with a needler.
Damn it, you stole my answer. Now I gotta change.
Really?
Yeah. I love the needler.
Like,
I thought it's so cool looking.
It's such a unique looking weapon.
Yeah. It's iconic.
Like no weapon in gaming looks like the needler.
Yeah. definitely.
You know, that weapon looks like you could do whatever you want it to do. You know, you look at the sniper rifle, it looks like a sniper rifle. You look at the rocket launcher, it looks like a rocket launcher. Battle rifle, assault rifle, SMGs, all kind of look like the real life counterparts, but you don't really get that. Even like with like the plasma rifle, you know, it still kind of looks like a rifle in a way, or maybe just two birds that have been mirrored together. If you've ever seen that meme. But like the needler is just like so cool with the spikes like poking out of it, and just like the coloring of it, and it just like, you look at that, you're like, that's radical, dude. Where'd you get that from?
Exactly.
What would you go with, Pat, if you weren't stealing my answer?
Well, if you didn't kindly steal mine first, I knew I should have went first on that one. Damn it. I'm gonna go with nice fiery plasma energy sword as my very close number 2.
That would be sweet.
That'd be badass. As you guys could see behind me there on my wall, I got an energy sword replica that my wife got me for Christmas one year because she's awesome. Oh well, I'm gonna take my energy sword. And that thing is sharp too. Like I've done like unboxing videos with my energy sword and just like stab stuff. That thing like goes in. That's pretty fun. That would be a badass weapon to have, or like a gravity hammer or something cool like that, something different. But yeah, the needler aesthetically is just so. I've always wanted. There's like a $500 needler replica online that I really want because it looks amazing. I just can't, drop 500 bombs on something that's gonna sit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a really cool question to story. Appreciate that one. You want me to let you go ahead? We got a couple more on mine, but I'll let you go ahead if you got any questions on yours.
No, but if anyone has any questions on my end of the chat, feel free to type them in. Yeah, we'll be reading them.
So my boy Hoffshot says, for both of you as players, what do you feel lack in gameplay wise? And what do you feel you excel in? What do you feel you lack in gameplay wise? And what do you feel you excel in? Also, what do you want to improve on? Very good question, Hoff. And I actually kind of reached out to you earlier this week about trying to improve on Halo because I want to take it more seriously, especially when Infinite coming out. I feel like I have some skills in Halo, but there's always room to improve. Like I definitely feel I'm above average, but I'm not in like, what I asked on the social stream the other day. I said, what is above average would you say as far as ranked? And they're like, well, Onyx. I said, is it Onyx? Because I can place Onyx pretty easy. And they're like, no, it's actually like Onyx is like,
can you though?
Yeah, I can. Sweaty platinum. So they're like, Onyx is like top 2 to 3%. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to get better then. Like if that's top 2 to 3%, I want to get higher up there. So yeah, definitely with Infinite, I want to get better at. Call outs and stuff I'm okay at, I would say, Hoff. But gameplay wise, I want to definitely get a strafe down that I can memorize a pattern, and like you said, to have an alternate strafe method to really take it to the next level, because there's a lot of strategy involved in Halo that many people just don't think. It's not just mindless shooting. Also, choosing my encounters better. I'm very aggressive. I feel like I can take on the world. I'm very confident in my shot and stuff, and that gets me in a lot of trouble. So choosing my battles better, getting my death count down. Like I could get a lot of kills, but I'm definitely gonna get quite a few deaths too, because I'm always charging in there trying to take on the team. Especially if I'm having a good game, I get even more aggressive. What I feel I excel in, the one thing I think I'm good at is my aim. Sometimes I really want to improve on my movement as well, as Rapscallion would say, movement. So want to improve on that, especially in the new age of Halo where you can really fly around. But yeah, really good question. What do you say, Kev? What do you excel in? What do you lack in? What do you want to improve on?
Or do you mean more movement?
Yeah.
For my end of things, I think the biggest thing would be consistency, because I can do well and then in that same match do absolutely horrible. I think that's just consistency is my biggest issue. Like I don't really care to be like a champ player in Halo 5 or like be like one of the top 200 players in Halo. I just want to be decent, like a solid Onyx player, like a 1570 in Onyx, if I can get that every time, I'd be super happy. Right now, I'm kind of like at my worst, like a Plat 6, and at my best, a Diamond 6. So somewhere in between there is kind of where I sit. That's kind of my general ranks right now in Halo 5, which apparently wasn't like in. I saw a video, I think it was from Luke the Notable back in the day when he did Halo videos, talking about how, like,
before he was a sellout.
Back in the day, was it like Diamond 4 or 5 was like used to be like 50 in Halo 3. So that's the reason why they came up with this new ranking system to kind of distinguish like the higher skilled players better, which I actually really like that new system compared to like 1 through 50. And I think it works. I think the matchmaking in Halo 5 works a lot better, but that's a different story right there. My main thing would just be consistency, because like I know open routes. I can do well when it comes to strategically placing myself for like power weapons and power ups and things like that. But it's just like those in between times where it's like you're waiting like a minute for like the next OS to pop up, or like a power up or power weapon or something like that, and I feel like I'm like Ricky Bobby from like Talladega Nights. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
My hands, right?
And so I'm just kind of aimlessly walking around. I'm just getting, having a lot of unnecessary devs, pushing when I don't need to, and just like thinking I'm helping, but then not. So like knowing when, having better decision makings for more consistent gameplay would work out a lot better in my favor. My shot's all right. It definitely could be better. But
yeah, it's alright.
Certainly could be worse,
Yeah, it could definitely could be like Jimbo's shot.
And so, other than that, I think more, just kind of like figuring better consistency, and just knowing that like having more confidence in my gameplay, because there are times when I'm playing Halo 5 where I feel like I know the map, I know where people are, like I have like the X-ray vision in my brain going, where the other times I feel like as soon as I spawn, I'm like, where am I getting shot from? Where like I'm just like, there's sometimes I feel completely lost, and sometimes I feel like I'm on top of it. But usually when I feel like I'm on top of it, I'm playing against golds, and then when I feel like completely lost, I'm playing against Onyx players.
Yeah.
And so that's my main thing, is that kind of that those little areas is where I feel I'm kind of lost in.
Good question, for sure.
Yeah, good question there for sure. Yeah. Any more from your end there, Pat? I got a couple questions on my end.
Yeah, I got one more here so far, so I'll finish that out. Do you think, Mr. Destroyer again asks, do you think we will see stuff in Infinite like Spartan Charge, or just like Sprint, etc.? We've talked about this a little bit. I will not give you what I think is going to happen, because honestly, I don't know. It's a toss-up, because I know 343 wants to go back to the roots with Infinite, because a lot of the community wants classic Halo, but also there's a lot of people that grew up with Halo 4 and 5 and want Sprint, and I know a lot of people that even didn't grow up with Halo 4 and 5 who've been Halo players from the beginning, and just say like going back playing old Halos feels sluggish. They can't stand not being able to sprint, things like that. Personally though, I'll tell you what I want. I love classic Halo. I think it plays better than the newer Halos, but I do not mind Sprint, so I don't mind Sprint being in there. I even don't mind Thruster being in there, but I don't mind it not being in there. I don't want Ground Pound and Spartan Charge, though. I think those are two that can go. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
And then Clamber, it's a toss-up for me, because it takes away the skill of jumping and making certain jumps. But then it makes it easier for plebs like me who don't do those kind of skill jumps. So I would probably say take Clamber out, honestly. I think it's too easy to just hold your button and grab onto a ledge. It saves you a lot in a lot of certain situations. But I don't mind Sprint at all. I don't mind Sprint. As long as they keep the same implementation they did in Halo 5, where you cannot regain shields, it's less bothersome to me. What about you, Kev?
I don't mind Sprint at all. Like, sure, keep it in the game as long as you balance it properly. That's a big thing about these different abilities, as long as you balance the game out properly for them. Like, Halo 4 did not do that at all. They just tried going classic Halo, but let's add all this extra stuff and make the maps gigantic. Like, well, no, that completely doesn't work at all. And so they tried to do it with Halo 5 by, designing the game around these abilities. And it actually, to me, works out really well. I would say, like, I've always gone on record saying that Halo 5 is the best multiplayer since Halo 3.
Yep.
And
I say the same thing except for since Halo 2.
and so that's a big thing. It just depends how the game is designed around them, because like you say that it removes skill jumps by having clamber, but the thing is, adding the thruster pack and slide and clamber creates all these new different kinds of maneuvers and skill jumps to do that would actually are very difficult to pull off if you're not as skilled as a higher tier player would be. So it's all kind of relative, I find, really, when it comes to that kind of stuff. Though I would say that I've heard this thing about skill ceiling. You always hear skill ceiling, like what's the max amount of skill you can get, but not very few people talk about the skill floor of like the minimal skill required to be able to play a game. And I feel like Halo 5 brought that up to such a high level to where it's actually kind of off-putting to a lot of casual players, especially a lot of my friends who grew up playing Halo. One of my best friends, we played every single Halo up until Halo 4 because that game was trash. Extensively, like that was the game that we would play. And then Halo 4, he was kind of off-putted by that. Halo 5 came out, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really liking the new movements. And I think it's just because he's not that skilled of a player. He's kind of a silver, low-tier gold player. And at least from what I've played with him, he's never played ranked, obviously. But I think having a lower skill floor would be more beneficial to Halo. So removing. You can keep slide. Honestly,
slide doesn't matter. Yeah.
Honestly, like the ODC Slayer gameplay, I actually really liked. Like I'd be completely happy with that. Like it has clamber, it has sprint, no ground pound, no thruster, no sparring charge or anything like that. And I would be totally happy with that, and it would make sense for like current state gameplay as well. I think a big issue that people say like it feels kind of slow and clunky is when they don't play the MLG settings, which usually put the movement speed to 110%, and 110% speed on the classic Halos feels so good, especially in 3 and in Reach. Like I feel like that's the intended movement speed.
Yep. If they got rid of sprint and just increase movement speed, that'd be fine too.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too. I mean, that's kind of like what like a lot of people loved the new Doom that came out in 2016. Yeah. Your base movement speed is super fast in that one, so it's not that big. It's not that crazy not having sprint. Yeah, exactly. But for my idea of what I would like in Halo, honestly, I would kind of like to see clamber get removed. I feel like it's kind of like you can pull off some funky moves that I feel like you really shouldn't be able to pull off in Halo. Honestly, just give me Halo 3. If you want to throw a sprint and modify the maps and make it fit that, I'd be happy.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't get why they can't do this, and it seems pretty simple. Make a classic playlist right off the bat with maps made for that. Make one with abilities. Appease to both fucking sides. I don't get why we can't have two playlists that are like that, or two separate modes or sections of the game. Like, make social have abilities, make ranked have freaking classic Halo style. Like because most of the people who like classic are the people who are more hardcore about Halo, who want to play ranked and things like that, or do a mixture of both. Like why can't you have both in the same game? I never got that.
I think the biggest reason why they never did that is because the weapon balancing doesn't play well for classic. At least in Halo 5.
You would have to change hit detection and things like that, but I mean, which they don't bother doing now when they put classic playlists up of, it's like infuriating when you
have Halo 3 playlists. Not?
Right. But with the amount of money that's getting poured into Infinite and the size of the team at 343, you would think it's possible. Yeah, it's probably a pain in the ass. But honestly, then you create, you don't divide the community at all. You appease to both. But I know it's probably not possible. I'm fine with either. There isn't a bad Halo game to me. I love Halo. So I will play it regardless. I will probably 99% sure I'm gonna love Infinite unless they just completely fuck it up somehow, which is probably not gonna happen.
Even if Infinite is just like Halo 5.5,
0.5.
I'd still
It's
enjoy
a new
it.
Halo. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've waited long
As
enough.
long as you give me a good story and a full content on release,
That's the
then
biggest
I'm
thing.
totally
Yeah.
happy
If
with
they
that.
fuck up on story again, that's
Yeah.
that's something else.
So Nox over here in the chat on my end here actually put up a question saying, what was the first Halo game you played and what was your first multiplayer map? How about you start this one off, Pat?
First Halo game I played was, of course, CE. Back about 6 to 8 months after release, I would say. After my uncle and my dad beat it, it was last podcast, I think I said this story. So that was my first one. I wasn't allowed to have friends over or anything like that. My dad was like super strict, so I didn't really have like LAN parties or anything. So my first multiplayer map was on Halo 2 when we finally started to play Xbox Live. And I don't remember what the very first one is, but I'll tell you my favorite map and probably my most played map was Lockout. Lockout is my favorite Halo map of all time. I love that map. I can play it all day, every day, and never get sick of it. For some reason, I just like snow. Like everything in video games. I mean, I grew up in a very snowy area, so I guess it's just like harkening
Yeah, true,
back.
Buffalo, right?
Yeah. So it's very, very snowy. Way to call me out where I lived, Kevin.
I don't like the tattoo on your shoulder gives you away or anything.
Yeah, it could be a Bills fan born somewhere. Yeah, probably not. Only Bills fans are in Buffalo. But yeah, I love freaking. Oh snap! I just got upgraded to the new badge for 3 months. And Jar Jar Blanc, shout out to you for the follow. Thank you very much. But yeah, I would say that was my favorite map, Lockout. What about you, Kev? What was your first Halo game and your first map?
First Halo game was CE. I got it, the original Xbox and CE as a Christmas gift back in 2001. And I mean, I mainly played the campaign. I co-op with my brother. That's kind of the main thing we did, at least whenever we first started playing. And then we did play multiplayer, like 1v1s kind of stuff. Can't remember the first time I ever played multiplayer. But the thing that sticks out in my mind were all the LANs I used to hold at my house. My friends would come over from the neighborhood. We all come to my house, link up Xboxes, and we just play CTF Blood Gulch until we had to go home or go to sleep. Like that was Halo. It was just CTF Blood Gulch, just 4v4 CTF Blood Gulch. I know I'm kind of repetitive, but that's how we played it. Like that's literally the only mode we played. And we would play like other modes, like we would play other maps like Rat Race or like Boarding Action, Prisoner. I love playing Prisoner Rockets, was actually one of my favorite modes as well. I remember actually playing that in high school at one of my teacher's classrooms. During like lunch break, I'd eat lunch quickly, and then I'd go over to his classroom and we'd play CE together, which is fun.
Yeah, we used to play CE. We used to load custom edition onto our little flash drives and bring it into our technology class and just plug it in and start playing CE, like custom maps and stuff. That was really fun.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
Halo used to be so big. My church, when I used to be a church-going guy, my church had Halo in it. We used to have Halo 2 competitions. I won the free-for-all tournament at my church. Out of like 200 kids that participated, I was
Really?
number one. Yeah, I won a 4-pack of Red Bull. It was fucking awesome. Biggest achievement of my life by far.
So I didn't realize you were a Halo champion.
Thank you.
You're a
Thank you.
competitive champion.
Shout out to the Father's House in Rochester, New York. Tell him the Patman champion of the Halo 2 tournament. Me.
That's great.
But yeah.
But you kind of mentioned about favorite map. I'd actually say my favorite map would probably be the pit from Halo 3.
It's really good.
My favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Got another question here from Ghost. Thank you again for the recent sub there, man. Appreciate it. What would be an ideal game mode for Infinite that you would really like something new or expanded upon from past games? Pat, let you take the lead on that one.
All right, repeat the question one more time.
What would be an ideal game mode for Infinite that you would really like something new or expanded upon from past games? So like, what would be a new mode you'd want to see, or what a mode you would like to see kind of come back and maybe expanded on?
This one's pretty easy for me. Invasion 2.0. I've been wanting that since Reach, and would feel like mixed with the Warzone, what they did with that in the scale of Warzone. I really want Invasion 2.0. The mix, the kind of like the rush aspect from Battlefield, where the map like opens up for you after you complete an objective. Having objectives in a big map like that, having different objectives to do, and not just the same thing over and over, like capture objective butter, stupid stuff like that. I love Invasion for that, and that would mean bringing playable elites back, which would another check mark off of the "We Love You 343" box.
I feel like
for
that
a
would
lot
have
of the
to
community.
happen for Infinite.
Yeah,
Like, people
exactly.
complain about it so much, that and black undersuits, which black undersuits are coming back.
Exactly.
They said
Classic
that.
armor or classic art style coming back. A lot of stuff is coming back in Infinite, so would make sense. That would be an easy one for me. Yeah. So what would you say as something you would like to see return, or something new? You got any or a battle royale? Let me throw that in there. BR, please.
Ghost actually in the chat replied. That was his question. He does reply saying that Invasion 2.0 would be the one he would want to see. And honestly, after playing yesterday, I want more Invasion. Like I said, like I didn't really play it at all back in the Reach days, and so this was like my first time playing it, and now I'm like, oh my god, I am hooked. Like, just give me a little bit more refined version of Invasion 2.0, and I would be so happy. Even if it's still 66, I'd still be incredibly happy with it. My only frustration with that mode is just like not being able to spawn where you want to on, like, if you're on the defending side of things, because there's so many times where I'm like, I want the spawn in the base that has the sniper, but I don't have the option to do it. Give me that option. I want the sniper. Or because
Exactly.
I spawned in because you had like 3 bays, right? You can spawn in. One has a rocket launcher, one has a rocket launcher and vehicles, and another one has a sniper rifle. I just want the sniper rifle.
Right.
And I can only get that spawn if the game goes, we'll put you in that batch of kids who can spawn there. So I guess it makes it so that not so many people have to fight over power weapons, but I want it. That, and actually, Battle Royale would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. But yeah, Invasion. I put Invasion over Battle Royale though for Infinite.
Yeah.
That would
definitely.
just be. I played the same map for 6 hours straight for Invasion. That's how much I was enjoying the mode. It was just so much fun. I loved it, and I
want to touch on that too, on Battle Royale. That doesn't necessarily have to be an Infinite. I actually probably don't even want it in Infinite unless 343 absolutely does it like post-launch as free content as part of a big update. I wouldn't mind a third-party studio going after that though, and creating a Battle Royale like an Apex Legends, just from the ground up, and set in a popular universe like Titanfall was and like Apex is. And just having that Halo aesthetic, but not necessarily playing like Halo. Because I don't think if it played like if the vehicle is controlled like Halo, great. But the gunplay can't be like Halo, obviously. You need to have some sort of projectile system, not hit scan, things like that. It would take a big drastic change in the style of gameplay. But slap a code of Halo on there for graphics, just like Halo Wars is a RTS, but it's Halo. Do something like that.
Yeah, that's all you really gotta do. All you gotta do is make the mapping, just kind of fine tune some of like the power ups and weapons for the mode, and you got Halo Battle Royale.
Yep.
Because there are some aspects that would be cool if you can add on to it, but just like have a bare bones example of Battle Royale would totally work.
Yep. Jar Jar Blancs, thank you for the follow. Like I said earlier, says, would you guys like to see Halo 3 Anniversary? And go ahead, and I'll let you go first on that one, Kev.
I don't care much for it. Obviously, I want it. Yes, having Halo 3, like one of the greatest shooter campaigns ever created, in current graphics, would be absolutely awesome. I would totally play the hell out of it. Though, if I never got it, I wouldn't be crying into a pool of Halo tiers. I don't know what to say, but obviously it'd be awesome. But in reality, I don't really care much for it, to be honest. It'd be great, but I still think Halo 3 holds up well to this day. Besides like the facial animations and modeling, but like the environments, the gameplay, still hold up very well.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that one, Pat? Pete.
Pete. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but not asking for it anymore. We got Infinite coming out next year. We got Reach coming later this year on PC. I have plenty of Halo to play right now. Still grinding Halo 5. Back on the 10-year anniversary 2 years ago, yeah, I wanted it. Would have loved to have an updated version of Halo 3 with like dedicated servers, like kind of like what they did on MCC, up to the tick rate on the servers to make it feel a lot better, because Halo 3 feels better than it ever did on the original on MCC, in my opinion, right now. I think that's hard to argue. You could make an argument for Halo 1 or Halo 2 because of those ports, but I think Halo 3 plays awesome on MCC. And then on top of that, we just mentioned this last night in stream, blur cutscenes would be fucking amazing for Halo 3 Anniversary. I would love to see those cutscenes remade, especially all the emotion in that game. Yeah, that would be awesome to see, especially Sergeant Johnson, Lord Hood. Yeah, that would, and the Arbiter, of course, again. But like the spoiler alert for a 12-year-old game, you know, like the Johnson death scene or the Wake Me When You Need Me blur cutscenes, like that immediately come to mind would be freaking epic.
Oh my god, yeah. Wake Me When You Need Me, that would look so good.
So cool, right? Even the opening where he crashes and just like, words so easy, would be such a badass cutscene to see like rendered like that. So yeah, not asking for it now though. But good question, nonetheless, Jar Jar.
All right. Well, I think it does everything on my end. Do you have any questions on your end there, Pat? Or we're going to wrap it up? And do a little post-show Q&A if you want to continue.
All right, yeah, we got one more. Destroyer asks, would you eat Halo-shaped cereal? And what shapes would you want? Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's called Cheerios.
Cereal. Yeah. Ooh, they're millions of little Halo rings. But yeah, I would totally eat a freaking Halo. I would buy a bunch of them and save a box as like a collector's item. I would totally eat a Halo cereal. I have
it would get me eating cereal again.
Exactly. I have our little, I'm sure you have them too, Kevin, the little cookie cutters, Halo shaped cookie cutters that came with the Loot Crate box. I haven't used them yet.
Yeah,
like my wife tried, I think, once, and the cookies didn't come out that good, so we're gonna try again some other time, probably for Christmas. But yeah, I would totally freaking eat that. That's awesome.
Oh my god, now I totally need to make some Halo Christmas cookies.
There you go.
Oh my god, I absolutely need to do that. But yeah, all right, guys. So I think that's does it all for the podcast right there, Pat. Do you want to sign us off there for the?
Yes. So we appreciate all of you on the stream, watching on Kevin's channel, listening on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's been tremendous, more than me and Kevin ever imagined when we started this passion project of ours. I look forward to hop every single week doing it with Kevin. It's always fun. It's always fun, especially interacting with everybody on his channel in the streams. Just can't thank you guys enough for the support. So thank you guys once again, and we will see you guys next week on the next episode.
Thank you. Catch you later, guys.